Words of Meister Eckhart. And whatever object you have in your mind, however good, will be a barrier between you and the inmost truth. As long as I am this or that, I am not all things. So the mystic is encouraging us to recognize that we have a potential to be everyone, everywhere, and everything. This is non-duality. It is not readily understood. Why? Because we operate through a dualistic mindset, through a dualistic model of reality, a dualistic model of reality. And what is that? I am not what I am looking at. I am not the ground beneath my feet. I am not the empty space through which I walk. I am not the creatures that sustain me, that I devour and sustain me. And that is a dualistic perspective. It holds a lot of water. I hope we all keep it up because we must function. And of course, this is our survival function. However, the enlightened way is beyond duality. It is non-duality. In non-duality, we recognize that we are what we're looking at. Let's just think about that. What we're looking at, so to speak, is our environmental context. And the environmental context, we do not exist without it. So every subject requires an object. You'll never find a subject without an object, nor will we find an object without a subject. This is big news and a big shift in the model of existence. So upon, and we'll talk further about non-duality and the enlightened way. However, importantly, the revelations, for example, in Zen Buddhism, recognize very clearly that that duality and non-duality are one and the same. And this is critical. Why? Because we're not going to be getting rid of duality. What is duality? Well, Cesar is duality. I'm born and then I die. I succeed and I fail. I do things. I scratch my head. Apparently, this is the organization of duality. It personalizes. It personalizes this experience. And non-duality liberates us from the rigid assumption that we are the agents of action, that we are what walks, that we are what hears, that we are what sees. Non-dual revelation reveals the all that we are, the all-embracing singularity that sustains, is the foundation of all being. Thus, hearing hears, seeing is what's seeing, feeling is what's feeling. Quite a distinction from I am feeling, I am hearing. As the wonderful and non-dual sage Nisargadatta Maharaj states, confesses so beautifully, no one experiences reality. There is only reality. So we have a sense of being personal, and yet we are also non-personal. This is the meditative placement of attention. When we are conditioned by the dual perspective, we must trust the teacher, the pointers that help us arrive at the meditative placement of attention. The meditative placement of attention is the practice of being non-judgmental. It is in the interruption of the survival mechanisms that we identify with the mind. We are getting psychological distance at first from the mind, and then we go further. We go beyond that point and let go. We will never know enlightenment. Why? Because a knowledge in the dualistic domain is always comparative. We compare to know something. This is an apple, not a pear. In non-duality, we still see the apple, we still see the pear. However, it is as it is. We interrupt the mind that claims the idea that we are experiencing reality. In fact, the error, you might say, and this is a attribution error, and we believe that we are the agents of action when in fact all phenomena are cosmic in nature. So are you and I. Importantly also, and I use the words of Alan Watts, a great and non-dual philosopher, a wonderful revelation, and a human being who continued to live his human life. However, he had looked through the veil and was in fact in an absolute state, and of course coming back and talking to us about it. He mentions that you and I are, and he gives us an example, are ends rather than individuals. We do not exist without one another, like the ends of a stick, or the two sides of a coin, left and right. One does not exist without the other. I am your environmental context, and of course you are mine. We exist together, eternally whole. This apparent time-space domain is in fact simultaneously eternity. You are the incarnation, as I am, as all creatures are, as everything is. As everything is that one infinite, all-embracing Godhead that cannot be named. So it's quite legitimate to say it's nothing. Meister Eckhart, the 14th century Christian mystics, says it beautifully, because you want to know God, you need to give up everything, including God. So it's the giving up of conceptualization, opinion. That is the meditative placement of attention. Thank you for your time.